What's going on? It's your boy Carceno here, and let's get into it, man. A lot of people over the years have made Rick James and Lionel Richie enemies. And what people didn't know is they got along great. Lionel Richie and Rick James were like great buddies. Like they didn't hang out. But when they saw each other, it was nothing but respect. They've been knowing each other since the 80s, like 70s and all that stuff. I'm like, what is people even talking about? Like, where's all this coming from? And they was like, oh, you got to see the documentary. He helped out Lionel Richie's career when he did that. I'm like, what are you even talking about? Lionel Richie, y'all just really don't understand. Lionel Richie and Rick James were so good of friends. He won the award over Rick James. Rick James got an award, but like for best album, Lionel Richie won the award, and he was on stage with him. So that's why I'm like, I don't think people understand what they are even talking about. Like these guys respected each other. They was at the AMAs, right? And they keep saying, oh, he helped his career by doing cocaine. I'm like, they were polar opposites. But nothing was further from the truth. When Lionel Richie was with the Commodores, before he went solo, like Rick James knew the Commodores, he knew the band and everything, so they were all familiar with each other. And he respected Rick James as a songwriter and was like, man, this guy's incredible. But what is people talking about? That's what I'm saying. These guys who are probably too young to understand or didn't know what was going on, but Lionel Richie, the album, that's the one that won all the awards. The one with Truly, You Are, and all of that. I'm like, he came out with that. That's introduced him when he went solo back in like, what, 82? I remember they had an animated cartoon. They showed Lionel Richie get on the boat and leave the Commodores and sail away. His album, that Can't Slow Down album, come on. All Night Long, Hello, Running with the Night, Penny Lover, Stuck on You. Yes, I'm on my way. I mean, he wrote Lady for Kenny Rogers. I mean, this is Lionel Richie. But Lionel Richie was not the type that was finna hang out with Rick James. Like, they would see each other and it'd be a great time, but at a function. But Lionel wasn't finna hang out with Rick. He could not keep up. And Rick was trying to lure him there. Because Rick heard a song and he was, man, that's a bad motherfucker. Man, I just heard that song, man, that's a bad mother. And Rick came in there and he was sharp as a tack. He like, yeah, see, I'm just like your ass tonight. You should come with me to the China Club. Yeah, I got a girl named Kitty. Yeah, Kitty bad, boy. Woo. He was like, I'm married. Oh, yeah, that's right. You ain't married, my bad. Rick James was loving it, and he was talking about doing a song with Lionel Richie because they both were supposed to write for Diana Ross. And that's when he was, yeah, man, they want me to write this damn thing for Diana Ross. And I kept saying, man, Diana Ross, man, she cool, but she ain't got the pipes to hit that note like that, man. You know what I'm saying? That song, that's why I gave it to Tina. You know, I wrote this song for Tina, man. She gonna blow that damn, man. She gonna put some stank on that motherfucker. So once he was, gone and doing this thing with Rick, Rick started feeling real good. And all of a sudden, he tells him, he said, Lionel, have you ever done cocaine? Flat out. This was flat out. And he was like, no, man. No, don't touch that. He's like, don't ever do it. I'm telling you, it's a nightmare. You don't want that monster. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go to the studio, then we're going to meet at the China Club tonight. Look, I'm going to talk. Hey! It was Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson tries to avoid Rick James. Because there's a story where Rick James hit Magic Johnson and what was it, Mike? I don't know if it was Michael Cooper or AC. Well, it couldn't have been AC Green. So maybe it was Michael Cooper or I don't know. But it was Magic and another player. But I know Magic was there. Magic Johnson, because this has happened prior to this event, he's hanging out and Rick James comes over there. Because it's this pimp in LA. Like, he's like a pimp. He have all the hoes and everything. He knows Rick James. So Magic Johnson goes to the house to, like to hang out. And, it's all the ladies. Rick James is there with his feet on the coffee table. And he's like, man, he got a joint rolled up. He got two of his buddies over there. And he was like, hey, what's going on, man? So, man, Magic Johnson. Now, Magic, at this time, had been in the league for about 2 years. He's already won a championship. So, Rick James is going on. Man, you a bad motherfucker, man. You doing that thing, man, like the Harlem Globetrotter. Man, you see how he did that with the ball? He just went behind it back and brought it back and threw it over there. Man, boy, man, you had everybody, man, just tripping. I was high in the hell. I'm telling you, boy, if you played high, it'll change your life. So he was partying with Rick. Now Debbie Allen was there, and she came to get Magic. Debbie Allen, she was the choreographer. She came to pick up Magic and bring Magic back. I guess Dr. Bus. Somebody said, like, go get Irvin. Irvin need a ride or something. And she did it. And at that time, she was like assisting choreographer, dancer for the Laker girls and stuff. So Debbie Allen was, that's for Alicia Rashad Allen. You know, that was, her sister, or still is her sister. So Debbie Allen is there, and man, oh man, it gets into a situation when he sees Debbie Allen. Debbie's like, I gotta go, Rick. I'll talk to you later, Rick. Rick, I'll talk to you later. I gotta go. So he's sitting there confused about the whole situation. They was like, ain't this about a bet? Now, they were hitting it off, when he first saw her and everything, and Rick was talking to her outside. She was more reserved at the time because she was going through a separation with her husband, and she ended up was dating this guy named Winford or whatever. He was forgot what Winford was. I think he was an actor or something, or just like her or something. But Winford, that was like her first husband, and she was choreographer doing the stuff with the Lakers and all that, and she met up with Norm Nixon, and she cheated on her husband with Norm Nixon, and all this. There's a whole bunch of mess going on with that. But Rick also hit Debbie Allen, allegedly. This is where it gets crazy. So Michael Coop is with Magic, right? And Coop is like, man, dog, like, I gotta get home. So Coop was like, we going back in time. We gonna flash. This is a flashback scene. So we're going back to the party where the house is, right? Debbie Allen comes to pick Magic up. So Magic is finna go. Magic ready to bail because he's trying to get the hell away from Rick because he ain't want to run into Rick. So the guy's talking to him, the dude who's like the pimp out there in L.A. So he go out there and talk to Debbie Allen. So Rick ended up talking with her and was like, Debbie, why don't you come hang out with the China Club? And she was like, I can't, Rick. I gotta go. I gotta do some things, Rick. I'll talk to you, Rick. We'll get up. So Rick didn't get her that night. So Rick go back upstairs, and Rick was like, where they do the rehearsal for the damn Laker game? Do they do the rehearsal? They cheated choreographer. So he went, when they went to the damn thing, Rick James show up with Dr. Bus. It's Rick James, Dr. Bus, and Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor shows up to the Laker game with Rick James. They're at the Laker watching the Laker girls warm up. Debbie Allen is there, and Dr. Bus is calling her over like, come on over here, meet Rick James. She was like, oh, I know Rick. Hey, Rick, and talk to Rick and all that. Rick was like, you know what, Debbie? I know you're a married woman, and I respect that. I don't want to come in between that. And she was, well, I'm having problems, and we're kind of separated, but nobody knows yet. And he was like, well, okay, then I'll tell you what. I want to take you to dinner because I want to drop some things on you right quick because I want to do a music video and I want you to like direct the video. And so she was like, oh, wow, I get to direct a Rick James video? He was like, yeah, see, because I got this group, these girls, man, they bad, I'm telling you. They coming out, man, I'm trying to put that thing together. I'm trying to put that thing together. And it's going to be a girl group, but I want them first. They're going to be like the Rick James girls. And they're going to be dancing in the background of my videos, but I don't want them looking silly. So that's why I came down here to, look and see how y'all doing y'all thing. So she's now intrigued. So her and Rick go out. Next thing you know, Norm Nixon, she had been talking to Norm. So Norm was like, I know this dude ain't coming to try to take my man. So Norm Nixon is like, I don't give a damn who he is. I see stars every day. I'm gonna whoop his ass. So he feels territorial about the situation. So after they go out to dinner or whatever, and they had the conversation and the talk, they go to the after party, and Rick James told him, he said, man, I don't want to see you in here with me no more. He told that to Rick James. He said, I don't even want to see you in here no more. Don't come over here no more. I swear, don't come to this table no more. Not tonight, brother. I don't want to see you in here. You one of the good ones, man. We can't lose you. Don't try to save me. I'm gone. But we can't lose you. Rick James was so high he was confused by that. He kept trying to figure out what the hell he mean. Don't come to the table no more. What I do? But it blew his mind. So all of this is going on prior to the event where we're going to get back to with Magic seeing Rick James again. So we still in the past. Now all of this is leading up to all of this stuff you finna see right now. When they're meeting up at a proper event at an award show. So they see each other at the award show. Shortly after this, Norm Nixon is talking to Debbie Allen and was like, I saw you with Rick James, like what you and Rick. See, oh no. I'm not doing anything with Rick. No, he wants me to direct one of his music video. He got some girls that he's gonna want me to do. You sure you're gonna have time for that? So Norm was like very curt and like the show got him a little different. Like the thing they got him about it, he is meticulous and he liked to win more than Magic. Like his obsession to winning, like he wears passion and his heart on his sleeve. But he ain't bougie like they had him on the show. Now he was styled, but he was not like that. He was more of a country man, country boy. He wasn't getting no manicures and pedicures and all that stuff. So, but they dramatized everything to try to make it, different. But no, that wasn't happening. So at this point, Debbie Allen meets up with Rick. They go out on a little dinner date. It was great time. Rick tried to get her to hit the joint. Everything going good. So then Rick says to Richard Pryor grabbed him at the China Club and told him, I don't want to see your face at this table no more. Like, I don't even want you here. Like, when I'm here, I don't want to see Rick James. And what Richard Pryor was saying was, I don't want to see you go down. Like, we need you. And you on a high, like, you burning the candle at both ends, basically. And Richard Pryor already know, I'm deep into the abyss. Like, he gone. Like, don't try to save me. It's too late for me. We can't lose you. I can't let you go down this road while I'm at. Now, at this point, Rick wasn't bad yet. Like, Rick was just addicted to smoking weed. Like, he smoked weed and cigarettes. That was it. Weed and cigarettes. He really didn't get drunk, like sloppy drunk and all that. He really wasn't like that at all. He mostly was smoking. Yeah, he'll do a line here and there, but he wasn't no real heavy on the drugs like everybody else was heavy on the drugs. Like Sly and all those guys. But the California life, it took him, and he was gone. I mean, every other night, Rick was at the China Club or another club. They had the Kitty Cat. They had the Cocktail Lounge. And when back then, they don't have too many cocktail lounges no more. But he was at the Cocktail Lounge, and that's where they went out and had a drink and had something to eat. Went to the Cocktail Lounge, hung out. And apparently, one of those nights, she slept with Rick, allegedly, Debbie out. And Norm Nixon was mad as a mother. He was trying to call her, and she wasn't answering her phone at her house. So he went to her house, and she went at her crib. So he was mad as hell. Where were you? You weren't at your house. You wasn't staying at your sister's and everything. You back with your husband and all that. She's like, no, I was helping Rick. We coming up with a strategy for the video. So Norm Nixon was like, I'm finna beat Rick James' ass. He goes into the China Club. No, the Cocktail Lounge, actually. They get up to the Cocktail Lounge. And he goes, hey, that's one of the Lakers. He's like, one of the Lakers. And he reached out and he grabbed by the, I think it was the jersey he had on. Reached out and grabbed uh, Rick James. He said, "Let me talk to you real quick." And it was an aggressive grab. And Rick snatched away. He's like, hold up. You need a drink? Let's give him a drink. And he being real aggressive with Rick. Like, no, I want to talk to you. I don't need a drink. Now, I want to tell you something about Debbie. Yeah, that's a man. She's a beautiful woman. I respect her. She gets all my respect. That's a powerful woman. He was like, I just want to let you know, like, me and her are about to be an item. Like me and her are dating. He was like, oh, I didn't know that. I thought she was married. That's why I stayed back, man. I ain't want to do nothing with that. Mm-mm. He was like, oh, okay, because I know. He's like, yeah, man, we working, man. Ain't nothing. Man, I'm telling you, man, have a drink. Sit down. You ain't came all the way down here, man. This is a badass lounge. Man, just pull up and get a seat. Man, get my man here a drink. So he came in there to fight Rick James, grabbed on Rick, got a little aggressive, but Rick didn't even notice it. Rick didn't even care. Next thing you know, he chilling out smoking with Rick. He having a good time. Next thing you know, he was like, man, what I'm tripping on? Rick ain't did nothing. Rick had already hit the chick. He didn't even know it. Rick just was too cool about it. So next thing you know, that's why he's like, man, I respect her. Because she know how to keep her game tight. So Norm Nixon and her started really hitting it off. And Rick James kind of like fell back because of that. And Debbie Allen was like, well, Rick, we could still do it. It was like, I respect you. And Norm is a good man. And out of respect for Norm and you, I ain't gonna do the work. We just put that to the side. Cause I know what's gonna happen, baby. It's gonna start moving and you gonna start grooving and one day we gonna do something we gonna regret. I ain't ready. I ain't ready for that trip. So when he was like, I ain't ready for that trip, she was like, what is he talking about? Like, I'm not attached to anybody. I'm not married. So she got mad at Norm. Like, you messing up my career and this could have been a good opportunity for me. And he was like, baby, I want you to be my wife. You don't have to worry about security. I want you to be my wife. When I looked at you, I said, that's my wife. He meant that. And she was hooked. And that's how her and Norm been together ever since. I think they just had an anniversary. I swear to God, they've been married. They got married right after her divorce got finalized. In 84, they made it official and got married. They was together less than a year and got married. So that's how that went. But before she got married, Rick was all over her. And Magic, now we can go up to date to where Magic sees Rick James and he's ready to bolt. But Magic feels cool because Magic is at this award party. It's one of these damn award parties where everybody's in suit and tie. They got all the celebrities there. So Rick had a couple drinks. So Rick was on his best behavior. Everything was going cool. So Lionel Richie is there. And Lionel's there and they got a guy named, I think it's a country singer named T.G. Stewart or something. He was like, man, what did T.G. stand for? He was like, don't stand for shit. I just made it up. So, man, Rick laughed his ass off. Rick thought that was the funniest thing ever and said, man, you are a genius. T.G. Shepherd, that's his name, T.G. Shepherd, country singer. Man, T.G. Shepherd's like, don't stand for nothing. I just made shit up. He was like, my real name is Bill Brower. Like nobody call me nothing but TG now. See, the thing is he had a contract. He had a country singing contract with. He was singing country records and shit back in the day, and he had a bad record deal, and he had another chance to make some records, and so they was like, "Man, you got this contract that's screwing you up." So to get out the deal, he had to just create a whole new name, and nobody really knew who Bill Browder was. Billy Browder, little Billy Browder. So he said, T.G. Shepherd. That was the name they came up with for him, and they was like, "Well, what does the TG stand for?" I don't know. It just sounds like a good name. T.G. Shepherd. Don't stand for nothing. And every time someone asks me to, all the time, what does TG stand for? It's like, I don't know. So he was smoking a blunt and smoking the hashies and having a good time with Rick James. Then Rick, he saw Rick. They went to somebody's house. It was a recording studio and all this thing. Like it was one of the producers. They were at the house, not together, but he saw him there. And Rick James came, and Rick came with some of his girls, and this is like 80 degrees, and Lionel Richie's there, and Rick James is there. Lionel Richie's there with his wife, and he's got his wife. He's got his couple. I think his wife's friends or something. Everybody's wearing shorts. This nice California weather. It's about 80 degrees. Rick James come in all black leather pants with black boots with chains on them, and he's got a chain that's attached to the jeans that's attached to the leather pants, like a chain that attaches to the belt, going across to the other side, to the side. He got on a net shirt with no other shirt under. It's all see through. It's like he's wearing a net, and he's walking up there with this doggone Jerry curl braid type thing got going on. So he's going right over there talking. He's looking like rock star, right? And they was like Lionel Richie was saying, he said, Rick James just doesn't have an off button. He said, "Now I'm worried about Rick, man. You got to slow down. It's like you still going through the day. You don't have a slow down button. You don't like put Rick James, the artist, on the shelf. Hell no. I mean, Rick James, I'm a songwriter. I'm a creator. I do music, but God damn it, I'm Rick James. I'm the realest mother you've ever seen. This is me. It ain't my character. I ain't got nothing to hang up." So Rick James comes over there and he gets a drink and he see TG. He's, "Hey, TG!" So he's like reluctant to really talk to Rick James. And it's like Rick is like what's wrong with TG? So apparently, word around the campfire is that TG didn't like the fact Rick James came in there, and the girls that Rick had, they were white, and those girls were all over Rick, and Rick, the way he was licking on them and kissing all on their mouth and all that, he was disgusting. You know, he cool with Rick's lifestyle, know about Rick and everything, but when he saw Rick with the white girls, he really was like turned off by that. And it seemed to Rick that he's like, "Oh, he's a racist. Yeah, he's a racist mother. Man, I'm leaving this mother." So he was mad. "Yeah, racist." So he was like really pissed off at TG story. Thought TG was A phony, tight ass. So they played a volleyball game out there, and Rick James went after T.G. Stewart's buddy. One of the guys that was sitting over there, they was playing a volleyball game. Rick just came over there, started playing, came under the net after hitting the ball up in the air, came under the net and hit the damn man. Just tackled him. Came under the net because the guy spiked the ball down on Rick James. So Rick James ran over there in some boots in the damn sand. They had a little sand pit. He was playing volleyball in this damn sand. Goes under the net, tackles the goddamn guy. Rick was wild as hell. So after this, Rick James wanted to fight everybody in the damn party at that point, and that's when Lionel was like, Rick has got problems. So Lionel Richie went and was telling the executives that Rick needs a break. And they were like, he needs a break. Like, what's wrong with Rick? And right around this time, he comes out with Street Songs. And Street Songs, like I told you, Street Songs was already burning. But Rick was burnt out at that time. He's working on music barely. He was burning the candle at both ends. And Lionel Richie got all the awards that would have went to Rick James. Rick was just a little too raunchy for them, even though they love Super Free. That was just a song you play at night. You know, Lionel Richie, something you could play at any time of the day. But he never held that against Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie basically told the studio on Rick James. He went and told Berry Gordy, like, Barry, I'm concerned about Rick. After that party and everything, he basically said, like, I'm really concerned about Rick. Like for his well-being, like, I think he's, like, going at it really hard. Like, you could probably want to take a look into, Rick James. Now, the incident where you hear that they said, oh, we're finna start pushing Lionel Richie now, that is a complete lie. That guy who did that documentary told that damn lie in the Rick James documentary. That is a bold-faced lie. And the reason it is because Lionel Richie was pushed the day he came out of the womb. Lionel Richie was already huge. The only thing that happened when Rick James came in and snapped and went off on the studio, and the only reason he went off on the studio is because he was writing songs so Rick James is getting paid. He get his money, he gets his check. So he wasn't making albums or songs. Like, he was not in the right state of mind. Berry Gordy was like, yeah, we can't put this music out. Rick had unfinished songs that was just all over the place. And they was like, yeah, we can't really put this out. Like, none of this is, like, we'll put out a greatest hits, and let people, give Rick time. So after the Cold Blooded album, that's when all of the turmoil started to show up. Street Songs had hit, Throwing Down, and Cold Blooded came up. So After Cold Blooded came out, that album, everything else was starting to slow down. And they told them, they was like, Rick needs to, slow it down a bit. They weren't really honoring that at the time. The studio's making money off Rick, so they can't have Rick slow down one bit. They was like, man, this is Berry Gordy. See, Motown was losing money. They put out a whole bunch of acts that weren't making money. So they felt like putting Rick James on Motown was too risky for the Motown image. So they put Rick James on Gordy Records. But now this benefits Rick because Rick gets a writing credit too. So all the people he was writing for, Rick would come and get his check. Now the incident where he pulls his balls out in front of the guy and jumped on the damn table and all that part is true. But the saying the guy said Lionel Richie, they were already pushing Lionel Richie. That's what is the shock and awe of the whole thing. It's like now this is what made Lionel Richie's career. What are they talking about? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because Lionel Richie was already everywhere. I mean everywhere. But what they did after the fact, after he did that situation where he jumped on the table, because I think that's when Rick James came out with the Glow album, and it wasn't pushed like he thought it should be pushed, and he really freaked out. And he was coming out with the flag, and this when everything was going downhill. So when he was coming out with they was gonna do the flag and all this stuff. Like, let's do the flag and go into this direction. And the numbers were low for Glow. They had blew all the money, and Rick James was going through all this. So when he came to get his check, the check wasn't what it usually is for Rick James. So now he's pissed off. Because it was ridiculous. Now, while they was working on the album, they were changing. Everything was changing. Whitney Houston and Lionel Richie basically was changing and going with the new sound that was 90s. It was the new 90s sound, or the late 80s, where everything was dance oriented songs. It was more up tempo pop type of music. And this was due to the Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson success. Because Janet had the young teenage girls with the control and all of this. So it was always this new way to stay popular. So Whitney Houston went and dyed her hair, or they put on an orange wig, and she was just like, I want to dance with someone who loves me. Lionel Richie got Dancing on the Ceiling. So he comes out with the Dancing on the Ceiling album, and everybody loved this album. Of course, it's his best album, but he has Say You, Say Me, all of these songs here. But they went in and re-recorded some more pop songs so he can take off. And a lot of people didn't really like this album. They ruined Lionel Richie. So when you see that documentary on Rick James, just know that dude was lying. Okay? Dancing on the Ceiling is known because a lot of people play that song, but not people that love Lionel Richie. Like that been knowing Lionel Richie. That ain't the song they really play. Dancing on the Ceiling was cool, but that album ain't had nothing to do with the last album. Then, he ran into the trouble with got caught cheating, and the wife beat beat him up, and the girl, and the police, and Brenda Ritchie. Yeah, so we all know that, man. Lionel Richie ain't make an album for 10 years. He was so embarrassed that he didn't got whooped by by his wife, and it was so bad that he didn't make an album for 10 years. He wrote for people. Now he wrote songs, but he would not make another album. So it took 10 years for Lionel Richie to make another album. That's how the mental embarrassment it was. He waited 10 years till all that died down. 10 years. Wow. Oh well, Dancing on the Ceiling is like one of his most popular albums, but after that he was gone for 10 years. So to say, they was finna push Lionel Richie, that's like they were already pushing Lionel Richie. Rick James was like slowing down, like he was burning out. They saw that, like Rick was having problems. They knew Rick. They was trying to get everything out of Rick, have him work, 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 work. He got the Mary Jane's girls. He's got this going on. So when he got all of this going and he's burning the candle at both ends, that's all they wanted to just keep Rick working and get as much out of him. He's gonna crash and burn, but when it happened, we're gonna have all this work out of Rick. So Rick is just writing songs for other artists at this time. And when the Flag came out and that album was all over the place, it had like maybe a couple good songs. They told Rick, "We can't even put out your music no more. That's how bad it is. You gotta take some time off." So he took some time off, man, before he came out with another album when he was kind of got back on his feet, because he was a mess. And when he came out with Wonderful, he had left the label when he got his own thing. That was his last one with the Flag, and that's when he had the infamous jump on the table, pull out his, you know what? That was his last time doing anything for them. He was out of there. Well, his fans go back and they say, "Man, I need to go check this album out. This is the last one he did with Gordy in Motown. This is when Rick was like really messed up and he was trying to come out of it. Like he was going through things. And after that, that's when he took like a year off trying to get himself clean and all of these different things there, man. But Magic Johnson was scared to death of Rick James. Rick was too aggressive and too boisterous for for him. He was just like Magic was like, this dude is extra, extra, extra. Read all about it, baby. Um, Nothing really too much after that. But that's what happened. Now I ended up making it because people kept asking me about that. Lionel Richie and Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie and Rick James didn't have any problems. Not one. They never had a problem. The only thing Lionel Richie ever did was really tell Barry Gordy, like, man, we gotta, like, Rick, I'm very worried about Rick, like, and they already know about Rick. Yeah, so it wasn't like he told on them or nothing, but they was like, yeah, we gonna have to slow Rick down or something, man, because he came in here, he's wild. But they wasn't worried about it because he was on the Gordy imprint. So they was just like, look, he could do what he want over there on Gordy. That don't mess up Motown. So he can write for Motown, but we can't have Rick James representing Motown. Rick just wanted the respect. That's all. That's what he always was working towards. He felt like, man, my work is just as good, if not better, than all these artists that y'all spend all this money promoting. And I'm doing it without that. I'm doing it with the streets, and people want love my music, and I'm going out there and doing shows. I'm actually connected with the people. I'm not even on the radio like that. Y'all pay all this money to put these dudes in rotation, but I'm out there with the people, and that's how he was. Rick Rick came off that bus and was like, they want to arrest Rick James and throw me in jail because I smoked some marijuana. He was like, everybody in the world smoked marijuana. They've been smoking all through the 70s and all the hippies. They ain't arrest all the hippies. They ain't throw the hippies in jail. You know why? Because they're white skinned. That's why. Because a black man, oh, he can't smoke reefer. Oh, now it's a drug. So it was just a whole different mentality, and he was hating that they made rules where he could not smoke. You could not tell Rick James he could not smoke. That meant he was gonna smoke even more, even when they called the cops on him. Yep. So that's it, and we'll get into the other Rick James story. When Rick James was finna buy his ex girlfriend a condo in, what was it? So I forgot what. I think it's in Malibu or Concord, some place like that. But it was in L.A. He was dating this girl, and he was wanted to get her a place out there in Concord, around Malibu, around that area. So we're gonna tell you what happened when he tried to do that. That's gonna be very interesting. So this is when Rick James went through a karate phase. Yeah. So get ready. Anyway, I'm out.